Good morning, wherever you are. It might not be morning. Hello, wherever you are. It is morning here in Colorado Springs to be exact. If you guys have ever visited, it is the second largest city in Colorado. So, we're here. Basically, this is my first video, which I am labeling or titling Cemetery Side Chat, because we are here at Historic Evergreen Cemetery in Colorado Springs, and truly I have found one of, if not the most beautiful corner in the cemetery, where these amazing residents truly have the best view, I think, at least that I have found. So I'm right outside of block 20, I believe. And let me show you the view that I get to kind of take a look at right now. So Colorado Springs, just downtown Colorado Springs, is beyond this little hill. And I get to share this beautiful view with the Costa family, who have their beautiful kind of memorial setup. I'm actually sitting on some gorgeous, looks like granite. It's honestly, it's beautiful. This kind of like granite structure that outlines the perimeter of this grave. So it's really pretty out here. This is a really nice cemetery. So if you ever find yourself in Colorado Springs, come check out Evergreen Cemetery. Sorry if the sun is reflecting in my glasses. That looks pretty cool. So the first cemetery side chat, I really don't have a topic on my mind right now, other than just kind of what I do for a living. So I'm going to start the first cemetery side chat with just talking about what it is I do in the funeral industry, and we'll go from there. So I'm a advanced planning specialist is one title for it. I'm a pre-arrangement specialist is another title for it. I'm a preneed agent. That's definitely a good title for it. Also recently I am NFDA certified as a pre-planning consultant. So there are lots of terms and titles for what I do within the funeral industry. But let me explain what it is I do. I help people pre-plan and prepay for their own funerals or for someone that is still alive. And there is a key difference there because they are still alive. They are not deceased. So when a funeral home gets a call and someone says, my loved one has died, my job is, that's not my job has come and gone. The funeral directors, they help the families that have actively experienced a death. When there is no death yet, even if someone is terminally ill, even if they're in hospice care, when there is no death yet, it is the job of a pre-planning person to go in, get all the information, figure out what the arrangement is, and then of course let the people know that with the funeral home you're choosing, this is the price for that kind of arrangement, and if you want, you can prepay for that arrangement. And that sounds crazy to a lot of people. How can I prepay for a funeral without using it? And hopefully, knock on wood, this isn't wood, this is granite, hopefully I won't have to use it for a really long time. So that's what funeral pre-planning and prepaying is. So the benefits of pre-planning is that your family knows what you want. Your loved ones know what you want. And then the further you go, they won't have to do absolutely anything except make an initial phone call, possibly sign documents that maybe were not signed in that previous pre-need. And then just kind of go over the plan, go over everything. Your family can, of course, add services, add merchandise, do things like that. But you will have the basic skeletal structure of that funeral arrangement. And the benefit of prepaying is that you're locking in that funeral home's price so that as those prices go up every year, which they will, every business raises their prices every year, it won't affect you. So let me explain how prepaying works. So you sit down with me and we plan your entire funeral from cremation to where you want to have the service to all of these things. And of course, you don't have to have services. You don't have to do any of those things. An arrangement is tailored to exactly what you want, no more, no less. So if you just want to be cremated with no bells and whistles, fantastic. That's your arrangement. If you want to have a full traditional burial with all the bells and whistles, fantastic. That's your arrangement. If you want a wonderful natural burial and with a beautiful burial shroud made by your family, that's fantastic. That's your arrangement. So whatever your arrangement is, a good preneed person is going to help you plan it. And they're going to let you know all of the services that are required with that type of arrangement and all of the services that are optional with that kind of arrangement. Merchandise, of course, urns, caskets, coffins, shrouds, jewelry, keepsakes, things like that. We can get you all of that, or you can get it on your own. Amazon has all those things. I don't have to tell you that. We can work with you to where your arrangement is perfectly tailored. It has all the pieces you want. It has nothing more than what you need. So that's what my job is to sit down with someone like you, go through all of those things, price it up, and then you are going to pay a specific funeral home, right? So let's use Harwood Funeral Home, for instance, which is an amazing funeral home down in Canyon City. They also have a location in Castle Rock, so you Douglas County area folks, call Harwood if you ever need someone to help you out. So basically, if you prepay and you lock in Harwood Funeral Home's prices, basically what they're saying is, as long as you stick with us, as long as your funeral home of choice stays with us, then we're going to honor the price that we locked in the year that you met with us and took care of all this stuff, right? But if you move out of the state of Colorado, if you go to another area or you go to another city or whatever it is, that money doesn't stay with that first funeral home. It follows you wherever you go, especially if you pre-plan with me, because I'm going to put that money into a safe, secure insurance policy that actually belongs to you. If you are prepaying with a funeral home, ask them where your money is going to be sitting, who has access to that money, and what happens if you guys go out of business or if I move out of the state or to another city. These are questions that you have to ask that pre-need person, because not every funeral home does everything the same. Some might use that pre-need insurance policy, which is the best way, in my opinion, to fund that money or to house the money that you're using. Some funeral homes might use a trust. If it's a trust, then it is the funeral home or the funeral home owner that has access to that money. If it's a pre-need insurance policy, truly nobody has access to the money. You're the owner of it, but it shows the funeral home listed as the beneficiary of the money that's sitting in that policy. But no one can access it. It is padlocked, essentially. So if you trust that funeral director and they have a trust, then odds are you're going to be all right. But better be safe than sorry and put your hard-earned money into a safe policy that's actually going to follow you wherever you go and not stay with that funeral home. So when you pre-plan with me, I am going to put your money into an insurance policy that goes wherever you go. And so say Harwood Funeral Home goes out of business, but you're still local in the area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you find a funeral home that has similar pricing in the area. Now, that second funeral home is not legally obligated to accept the prices that were set from that first funeral home. So it is up to us, it's up to me to help you find a funeral home that is going to honor the original prices by finding a funeral home that is similar in pricing, that is likely family owned, because those are the ones that are more likely to transfer these policies over without having you or your family pay any sort of difference for prices. Now, if you move out of state, Colorado, we are below average pricing for funerals in general. So if you were to take your policy and you moved to California, where the cost of living is higher, basically what I would do is the same thing. I would try and help you find a funeral home in the area that has similar pricing. If I can't, what we would do is we'd have to redraw up the plan again with that funeral home, with their prices and all of those things. And basically, you would just owe the difference. So, whatever original payment you paid towards your first arrangement, that all goes towards your new arrangement and you just pay the difference. So, say if your arrangement here in Colorado ended up being $5,000 for a very, very beautiful cremation with a beautiful service and beautiful merchandise and all of those things. That's a pretty high-end cremation with a service, I'm not going to lie. But I just brought it up, so let's keep running with this number. So you paid $5,000 for this beautiful arrangement, and then you moved to California where the exact same arrangement is now $8,000. Now I can try my hardest to get that funeral home to accept the money that's sitting in your policy, but any funeral home's going to most likely look at that and say, that's way too big of a difference for us. We're not going to make any money on this arrangement. We will lose money on this arrangement. So, with that being said, if you do have to pay the money for the new arrangement, you would only have to pay $3,000 in order to add on to the original $5,000 that you have in that policy. So, everything is different, but with the right pre-planning specialist, they should help you transfer these policies over, find funeral homes that are gonna be as close to or as best for you as possible, and then just go from there. So pre-planning is always beneficial. It never hurts your loved ones to know what the plan is. What are we gonna do when someone that we absolutely love and care about dies? What's the plan? Do they want to be cremated? Do they want to be buried? Are we going to have a service at our church? Are we going to have a service at the funeral home? Do we want to have a service at the cemetery? Do we want to have the service at our house? Do we want to have the service at the park? You know what I mean? Do we want to have it at an event center? People think that funerals only happen in churches and funeral homes, but I'm trying to get people to realize that a funeral is a gathering. A gathering can happen anywhere. It is simply a space to gather and mourn communally together with others that are also mourning. So a funeral can be anywhere, really. So thank you so much for joining me on this first fireside, or I keep saying fireside because that's what I'm like. Anyway. Thank you for joining me on this first cemetery side chat. I am going to start to post a lot more on YouTube. I will try to do more of these cemetery side chats. And if you guys have any questions or any topics that you want me to talk about, please do so in the comments. Please follow, subscribe, like. I am at The Funeral Planners CO in pretty much every platform. I have a Facebook page, Jamie and CISO preneed specialist, I think. You can find me on all platforms, Jamie and CISO, ENCISO, at The Funeral Planner CO. CO is for Colorado. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you enjoyed what I had to ramble on about in this video, please like, and hopefully I'll see you for the next one. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of these folks for letting me disturb their peace and talk about this for a moment. So thank you all to you guys as well. All right, bye, guys.